Rabbi Ben Shem Tov came to Cincinnati and gave over this message that the Rebbe said women should start having learning groups. At that time, I was in Cincinnati maybe 6 months. I was the youngest of the young women, which were just a handful, young marrieds in Cincinnati at that time, from young marrieds. And I listened, and he said, so what's supposed to time? What do you have to get started right away.
Lassen sich gesende Hero von Glewe Israel, als sie haben mit Mann gewählt und gegeben Chizuk und mit Edel gewählt. Als Stake bedarf Znius und nicht Betaruvis, all Noschen Lechut wie Noschen Lechut. Aber auch Pekin sollen sie erst sein mit solchen Zibel bei Emuna und wird das noch mit Kasher gewählt mit der Gejula, was bis Fuß Noschen Zitkonische Bedeih für Jeze Mitzrayim Nikola Besenu mit Mitzrayim. Und auf der See der Chechit gemäß Israel Eretz Mitzrayim, die Gejula Hasido, was Arenu Nifloi ist, weil das nicht nur an Messinas hätte, nur andere Beechit Atzivui.
So I called a few young women. I said, we have to start a women's group. It was miraculous, because from that it grew into a beautiful group. Sometimes when I meet some of the younger women who are older, like me, they still remember those sessions.
I was a very shy girl, very inhibited, very introverted, very unsure of myself. My father wanted to send me to Israel, to seminary. Just about a week before I was due to travel, I went for Yechidus with my mother and father. The Rebbe said, when you get to Israel, I want you to start this organization called Bnos Chabad that we had here in America that they never yet had in Israel. Here I am thinking, who am I to organize Bnos Chabad? I just kept quiet. I nodded with my head, like as if to say, okay.
Soll man magisch sein, Tirche der Wufe, wo man meine bis bin ich schmossen. Afchino Chabones, nicht weniger Afchino Chabones, Idee aufzustellen, auf den der Hagiulo.
Und allemal, wenn man geht da raus, fühlt man sich verstarkt.
Dann drum Wufe, dafür haben die alle in Gune Noschen, Idee soll das Können aufhalten und in der Nähe von Hedech und Messi Vejeb.
Then I came to Eretz Yisrael, and I contacted these two people that they had told me to, and I said, we have to start a Bnos Chabad. And we ended up having a very beautiful Bnos Chabad. The school I was going to, the Beis Yaakov, we had very wonderful people come to teach us. We learned Hasidus. We had a shir in Tanya, and this was something girls didn't have before, and it was something that they have actually instituted from that year on. So it was Bnos Chabad in Yerushalayim.
I remember Yechidus when the Rebbe said that it was time to do a book on women. And it was the Rebbe who called it an anthology for women. And we chatted about Woman of Valor and what to put in the book. And he said, if there's any difficulty with money, I would be happy to participate. And I said, oh, that would be quite unnecessary because I have a surplus from something that I'd been connected with. I said, we have a surplus. And the Rebbe sat back in his armchair and laughed so heartily. He said, this must be the first time in the history of my organization that any Mossad has had a surplus.
Nicht nur Anoshim, nur Vayavei Anoshim, auch Anoshim, als sie tun noch mehr auf in dem, wie sie tun auf Anoshim.
The Rebbe always referred to the woman as the Akeres Habayis, you know, her family, her husband, home, and yet he was constantly pushing women to be activists.
The mystical movement, or mysticism as people use the term.
There was a television program called Hasidism and Mysticism. My wife represented the women of Crown Heights.
Before, you said that you came to Yiddishkeit only 5 years ago. You are now fully engaged in Jewish life, not only as a woman in a period that has been described by women's liberation, but here you are identified with a tradition that has both authority and life, and you don't feel yourself ghettoized. Tell us something about how you manage the crossing between being within the community as well as serving the whole of the Jewish community.
It's a question because Lubavitch, just being Lubavitcher, you're very much involved with the whole of the Jewish community.
After the program, we had Yechidus with the Rebbe. The Rebbe said to her, "Don't think that you don't have the ability to influence people, because you influenced even me."
My mission or my purpose in life, besides the very important one of fulfilling myself as a Jew by living the Torah and performing the mitzvot, is also to try to spread what I got 5 years ago to people who haven't gotten it yet. And in that respect, my husband and I have gone out to campuses and to different groups to speak. We have people in our home, and every Shabbos, generally, we try to share a bit of the Yiddishkeit that was given to us with other people.
The Rebbe was always referring to women as women of influence. And therefore, a woman has to be an influence for good.
You know that in Hasidim, there is equal rights for women also. And in certain things, you are expected to be even more than the males.
I promise the rabbi that I will try, and I want to thank you.
He regarded the women as very important. Very, very important.
In the Parsha, Hashem commanded the Jews.
And the United States, especially now here, women folk can do even more than men folk.
I hope so.
Don't you hope you realize it?
The stability that they have been able to.
Read it from potential is the active form.
The Rebbe made me speak and be outgoing and involved with a lot of people, so it just changed me into this outgoing personality.
He was always encouraging the women that we could influence people, that we could really influence people.